Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you, and on the line with us, Dennis Prager, conservative commentator, syndicated national talk show host, author of several books, including Still the Best Hope, Why the World Needs American Values to Triumph. His website, DennisPrager, Prager.com. Dennis, welcome back to the program.
Yeah, it's been a while. How are you?
It has been a while. I am fine, and I hope you are too.
I am indeed. Thank you.
So, first of all, you've been writing a lot about the left. The left hates old people, stuff like that. Somebody said you were muttering about me. I don't know if that's true or not. But what's this obsession with the left? I don't get it. What is your complaint with liberals, progressives, Democrats? What's the problem?
Well, we don't have as much time as I have complaints, but I'll try to keep.
Let's start at the beginning
and give you time to react. In a nutshell, I contend that, in fact, I'm quite certain, leftism is a different approach to the world than Americanism. It doesn't mean that leftists don't love America. I never said that. I don't imply it. I don't think it. But leftism is an ideology.
How? And let's get into specifics. How is, for example, the first president of the United States?
I'll tell you how. I can answer that in under a minute.
Okay.
The American value system is encapsulated on every coin and every bill that we have. Liberty, in God we trust, and e pluribus unum. Leftism prefers, let's take each of them. Leftism prefers equality of result or egalitarianism to liberty. Leftism prefers a secular state to a God-centered, God-based Judeo-Christian state.
Yes.
And leftism prefers multiculturalism to e pluribus unum.
Well, e pluribus unum, if you know Latin, is multiculturalism. It literally means out of many, one. That's a multicultural society. One society that's made of many. That's e pluribus unum. And yes, I agree with you. I don't want the United States to become like Massachusetts was.
The ideal is to ignore the color of the human being. Sure. The leftist ideal is to honor race. Honoring race is a fascist notion. Dishonoring race, having nothing to do with race, or ignoring race is an American notion.
That's a bizarre statement.
Okay, to you it is because you're on the left. You think being black is important, being white is important, being yellow is important. I think human decency is important. I divide the world by decent and indecent.
So you would do nothing to remedy years and years of racism and slavery?
Okay, that's a myth.
It's a myth that the average African-American family in the United States has a $5,000 net worth, and the average white family in the United States has an $86,000 net worth. That's not a myth. Those are statistics.
And that is the result of racism?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a different read. I think it's a values issue.
You think it's because black people are born with different values than white people?
Why would you even imply that I said that?
You just said that. You said it's not a racial issue, it's a values issue. Are you saying that black people have less net worth in the United States than white people do because they are born with different values?
Yes, I'll give you one of the values. The value in black life, given the illegitimacy rate, that's a word you on the left don't like to use, so I won't use it. Out of wedlock rate is far higher than that of the rest of the society. That's a value.
Don't you think that's a natural and logical consequence of the poverty that is the result of years, decades, and centuries of racism and genocide?
Between left and right. Poverty is the result of illegitimacy. Illegitimacy is not the result of poverty.
No, I'd say that it's a vicious cycle. They feed each other.
Okay. Thom, the beauty of this dialogue is I'm not going to convince you, you're not going to convince me, but the beauty is clarity.
Yes.
You believe that poverty causes people not to have children before they're married.
In some cases.
That people having sex and children before marriage produces poverty.
No, I believe both are to be the case, actually.
I'm sorry?
I would assert that both are the case. That having children out of wedlock, and that's one of the reasons, by the way, Dennis, why I support widespread sex education and widespread access to contraception for teenagers and young boys and girls. And I don't understand why conservatives who know it, you just asserted it, that out of wedlock children, particularly to young mothers, increase the probability that both the mother and the child are going to grow up in poverty, why you guys work so hard to prevent women from having access to contraception and to prevent young people from having access to decent, reality-based sex education.
Right. Okay. So before there was any sex education in schools among whites and everybody else, including blacks, the illegitimacy rate was 1/4 what it is today. Your belief that the problem is not having enough access to contraceptives is, to me, an absurdity.
No, what I would say in response to, assuming that your statistics are correct, you're saying pre-1980 basically, or maybe pre-1970.
No, pre-1960s, 70s.
Okay, great. Pre-1960s, 70s, you had a lower illegitimacy rate than we do now. Let's say that that's true, and it probably is. Are you talking about, first of all, in absolute numbers, it certainly is, because there's a heck of a lot more people. There were only 3 billion people on planet Earth when Jack Kennedy was sworn in.
Percentage-wise.
Okay, so the percentage is higher. Great. I would say to you that is the logical outcome of 32 years of Reaganomics ripping apart the middle class and crushing the working poor. And that poverty has produced, as a natural consequence, more illegitimacy.
Okay, that's correct. That is what the left believes. Reagan causes illegitimacy.
I absolutely believe that.
Stated it. I have nothing to react. I'm glad it's on record.
You have no rebuttal for that?
No.
32 years of Reaganomics? We've had 32 years of flat wages.
I have a rebuttal. You want to hear Tom, let me talk. You want a rebuttal?
Sure.
The rebuttal is that it's absurd. The reason that people have children before they marry is values, not poverty.
And you don't think that poverty influences values?
That is correct. I do not.
You don't think that poverty produces despair, that poverty produces despondency, that poverty produces depression, that poverty produces mental illness?
Everywhere else, poor people, the vast majority of people prior to our generation or my generation were poor. In America and everywhere else.
They were not poor. If you look at the great prosperity in the United States during the Eisenhower administration, the Republican Eisenhower administration, the Kennedy administration, the Nixon administration. I mean, you look at that era from the 1950s until the 1980s, until Reaganomics kicked in and started repudiating the New Deal. We had, first of all, it was the only time in the history of the United States that we had 3 consecutive decades with GDP growth over 3.2%. It had never happened before. Secondly, we created the largest and most prosperous middle class in the history of the earth, and about a third of that is now gone. We had a third of America was unionized. Now it's down to 11%. You had corporations paying 31%, excuse me, of the total federal income. Now it's down to 11%. I mean, we had it. You and I grew up in the great prosperity, Dennis, and what we are looking at is the consequence of 32 years of Reaganomics. It's ripped this country apart.
Right, and that's the reason that people have children before they're married.
It's one of them, yes.
That was the original question. I believe it's values. You believe it's poverty.
I believe the values are influenced by poverty. I'd suggest,
not influenced.
Have you ever? Are you familiar with Wilkerson's work, The Spirit Level?
Tom, on my show, I let the guests talk as much as I do. I'm not even asking for more time, just equal amount of time.
I thought we were pretty equal.
The left-wing belief, which you have, is that poverty is instrumental in determining behavior. I believe that the values are. It's a left-right divide. I don't care.
I'm saying both are true, Dennis.
Own up to it.
I'm saying both are true. I'm saying you're right and I'm right.
Both are true. Which is more determinative, money or values? Answer that question.
It depends on the threshold of where you're defining the money.
Any threshold in the United States, even those below the poverty line. Do you?
Well, you look at the studies of how people with great amounts of money respond to people in need, and how people who are very poor respond to people in need. People who are poor are more likely to give a higher percentage of their income than people who are very wealthy.